So then it'll be there, and then we'll go over to go live here. So now we're live. Good. Cool. You can smile because people can see you now.
I'm smiling, but it's
oh, it's leg.
It's lagged.
Okay,
it's not.
No problem. You're gonna be okay in a minute. There you are. Say hi.
Hi.
All righty, perfect. All right, let's see here. And so we are actually live, and we should. Where's your phone? We should make sure that you're live on your phone.
So where do I go?
Go to Facebook, and hit.
Okay,
there you are. See you. There you are.
That's really great. That really looks great, George.
It'll catch up. It'll catch up. See, that's just catching you that you're there. So right here.
Leg. Yes, leg.
Now put your at comments in there. At everyone. Comments in there. At everyone. Yep. Followers. Type in followers. Yep. Followers. Type in followers. Okay. Hit. Then add everyone.
Oh.
Hit. Then add everyone. Everyone. Type everyone. Everyone. Type everyone. And then add highlights. And then add highlights. Cool.
Add highlights.
Mm-hmm. There you go. See? And now you already commented on us here. See? There you go. See? And now you already commented on us here. Perfect. And it's 8 o'clock, and we're ready to go. See, there's your comments. You've already commented there. See? Now people also know that you're on. So say hello, world.
Hi, world.
We're talking to us. And I'm George William. And you are?
Cheryl Hall.
And we're going to talk tonight, and we're going to begin a series to talk about Alzheimer's, and we're going to look at it from a twin perspective. So metabolic health, we're going to talk about metabolic health, and we're going to talk about from a twin perspective. And I know that a lot of people think Alzheimer's is hereditary. And so we're going to look to try to educate and have discussions. And we appreciate and look forward to anybody that wants to comment or join in the conversation, so please do so. But we're going to be on for a while, and we're going to be on Thursday. We're going to do a few weeks on seeing how this goes, okay? And the reason for it is because Cheryl is a twin. And we're going to talk about your brain and the metabolic syndrome. Okay? And we start talking about it. This right here is, well, you talk to people. Who you got here?
Okay. This is me and my sister. We were probably about 5 years old.
Cute.
I'm on the right.
Which one? You on stage right? Or?
Oh, I'm this one. And my sister Sharon is sitting beside me.
Okay. And about how old are we right there?
Probably around 5.
Okay.
My dad could not tell us apart as we got older, unless we had our kids and husbands with us.
Really?
He could not tell us apart. Mom knew right away. In fact, my uncle had come home from the military, and my sister and I were babies, and he switched my sister and I in bassinets. My mother walked in the room. She knew exactly what had happened. She knew the difference. It's a mom thing. So,
but most of the time, nobody could tell you guys apart.
No, the older we got, like in high school, kids would know the difference if we knew the kids well. Grade school, not so much. I know. Well, I think when we were separated in different rooms, we were until fourth grade. We were in the same class together, and in fifth grade they decided to separate us, which was traumatic. And
they separated you so that you wouldn't be mischievous together?
No,
or?
she was the mischievous one. I wasn't.
Of course.
She was. No, anyway, so one day we decided to switch rooms. And right away one of the kids realized what was happening. They said, "Oh, that's not Cheryl."
Tom, my brother Tom and I were really close, and we did that when we were in the seminary. And all of a sudden, Tom was really good at math. And George was really bad at Spanish. But anyway, so yeah, I get that. So, okay, cool. So where are we at here? Holy cannoli. Wait a minute.
Oh, my God.
Wait. So we went from there with the braids and all the gold and the shoes and all that to where are we at with this now?
Chubby little 8th graders, graduation.
And who's who in this photo?
I'm sitting on the right and Sharon's on the left.
Okay.
For some reason, when we were in pictures, even like photographs, we would all basically just go to the side we felt comfortable in.
Okay.
So, and that's most of our pictures are like that.
So you are the behind on these.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're the behind on that picture. So I'm trying to get this all squared away. So you're the behind on this one. You guys are 8th grade graduation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now whoa, nice car. What's this going on?
This was a wedding in Florida. I'm trying to think what year it was. Oh gosh. Long time ago.
Okay. And now she hadn't been diagnosed at this time yet.
No.
Okay. And you're on the right?
I'm on the right.
Yeah, I get one right for the first time on the.
And she's on the left.
Okay, very good.
See, it's always see.
Okay. Now what was this?
This was just, I don't know, a picture we wanted taken. And the weird thing about this picture is we had the same top on. And her kids had bought her that top for a gift. I don't know. It was Mother's Day or something. And my kids had bought me that top, unbeknownst to either set of kids, that they bought the same top.
Ah, and so then we have this picture taken and surprised at the dress and that. So now where are we at with this?
Was the summer after she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
And how old is she here?
She's 54.
So Sharon's 54.
Yeah. I'm the older twin by an hour. And she always let me know that.
You were the old. You were old.
Right, yeah.
And in that environment, being old wasn't a compliment.
I know.
Okay, all right.
No, she was 54.
Okay. Now what signs did you have, or what was going on? Did you notice anything and changes?
Well, her family started noticing things before I did because they were around her every day and I wasn't. Okay. I mean, we talked all the time. We were together a lot, but not everyday world. Her husband, they were building a house and she was always a general contractor. She would pick out everything and get everything organized, what had to be done when. And she started forgetting that she hadn't ordered things. And her husband noticed this then. We went to a wedding in Florida. And we were walking on the beach. Her daughter was 16 when she was diagnosed. But this was like the summer before.
Okay.
We were walking on the beach with her daughter, me, And my sister was lagging behind, and she just was really, really quiet. She wasn't herself. And now that I look back, it was because of this Alzheimer's, which we did not know about at the time.
Now, when you guys, when you found out about the diagnosis, what was didn't you go to Washington, or how engaged were you?
We went to Mayo's where she was diagnosed.
Okay.
She had been up to Mayo. Well, first thing they diagnosed her was with depression, and that is a lot of normalcy with that. So her husband took her to the doctor, and they put her on antidepressants. That wasn't helping. And so he said to the doctor, what about taking her to Mayo? And he said, I think it's a good idea. So they went up to Mayo one week, and I'll never forget the day. They got home on a Friday night, and her son's 30th birthday party was that night. And I was out there, and her husband said to me, we have to go back to Mayo next week. He said, would you like to go with us? And I said, yes. And then he told me that they were looking at dementia. I about fell apart at that point. So I couldn't believe it. So I went up with him, and the doctor told us it was dementia with the probability of Alzheimer's. She went through all these tests, mental tests, and she was just exhausted. And she was upset because she knows she didn't pass a lot of them, but she didn't understand. So the doctor told us that, and I asked the doctor, I said, can we go in another room? I don't want to hear, because I did not want her to hear what I was going to ask him. And so we went in the other room, and I said, what are we looking at here? And he said, she could be in a nursing home in 4 years. And I thought, no way. But actually, 5 years she was in a nursing home. But I just remember going in the bathroom, sitting on the floor, calling my kids, and I just sobbed. And on the way home, and then we went back to the room, and Sharon was just looking at a magazine, and I thought, how could you? But she didn't understand what was going on. She didn't understand how serious it was, and I did. And on the way home, she and I were sitting in the back seat. I was looking out the window, trying not to cry, let her see me crying. She grabbed my hand and she says, at least I'm not dying. I knew, but she didn't. And it just progressed from there.
Now, leading into this, had you guys had different lifestyle or injuries?
No, the only thing I can remember, the injury she might have had, I think we were in 4th grade, and I came home from school later than she did, and she was laying on the couch with a big washcloth on her head. She'd gotten hit. Somebody swung the baseball bat back, and she got hit in the head right here, and she had a big lump, and she had that all her life, and that's the only thing I can think of that would, have caused it.
Okay. Now, looking at your mom was what? How old?
Mom was 95 when she died. She had some dementia going on, but she was so isolated. She was through the COVID thing, and she lived in assisted living. And nobody could go see her during that time. She was isolated. They brought food to their room. She couldn't go see anybody, and we couldn't take her out. So that kind of did a number on her. And then she eventually fell, and that's what my mom basically.
And what about her mom?
Her mom?
Remember anything about her mom?
Yeah, I do, but I don't remember how old she just died. She had like heart problems, she was, I don't remember. They lived in California at the time.
What about Dad?
My dad, he was going to live forever.
He was a clown. Oh my God, he was a great guy.
My dad was 98 when he died. His mind was brilliant.
He really was.
And he remembered everything. He'd say, do you remember this? I'd say, no. Anyway, so Dad had a leaky valve in his heart, which he knew he had for a while. And he decided in January, he had just turned he had turned 98 in the previous July. In January, I was taking him up to Rockford to the specialist because he was bound determined he was going to have the surgery to fix the valve in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have gone up through both sides of the groin. They wouldn't have had to crack him open or anything. So he went through all the tests, pre-op tests, found out he had a carotid artery that would have had to be taken care of before he could have the heart surgery. So he said, no, he told me, no, quality is better than quantity. And he died a month later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But his mind was brilliant.
But so really in the family, on mom's side and dad's side, there's no real history of dementia or Alzheimer's really per se. I mean, mom suffered from the isolation that was brought on by we're not going to get into that mess because that's a whole nother issue.
Remember my great-grandmother, she lived to be 99 and she had memory problems, but my God, she was 99 years old.
So you're going to be around for a while.
Aren't you lucky?
Yeah, I guess so. I think so. That's yet to be determined.
My doctor said I'm going to live to be 100, and I said, I don't know if I want to.
Just for reference, in November, we both have birthdays, and she will, in decades, be 8. And I'll be 7.4. So in terms of health size, just guys looking at it from a health standpoint, we just did some metrics today, and you weighed in today at 92 pounds at 4'11" with a body fat of what? 5? A body fat of 5.0 and a lean muscle mass of 50%. So, guys, you want to know healthy? This is what this looks like. So when we're talking, we decided to have a conversation because we want to share what we know and what we've learned about metabolic health and the dementia, Alzheimer's, and the links inside of there. Now, Cheryl, you went to Washington to talk about this, didn't you?
When my sister was diagnosed, her daughter and I got really involved with the Alzheimer's Association. And the local chapter in Dixon, and we did the Alzheimer's walks and all that kind of stuff. And they asked me if I would go to the national convention in Washington, D.C. and give a speech. I said, sure. And I'm not good at, no. It was just, well, I thought, as if I had to give a speech today about something, I thought, I don't know if I could. But when I sat down and wrote this speech, it just flowed. I think God helped me through that.
Of course.
And the day of the speech, she was sitting up on the stage with me. And I don't even know how long the speech was. It was probably half hour, 45 minutes. And there was like 300 people in the room, and I got a standing ovation after that.
Were there this identical twins, or was this just you were the only identical twins up there? And then...
Yeah, it was the Alzheimer's convention, basically. Met some lady that had early onset, but she's still functioning. Can't believe that she actually had Alzheimer's.
At age 54.
Who?
Your sister?
Sharon. No, Sharon wasn't fully functioning at that time.
Oh, she wasn't?
No, I had to help her with luggage. I had to take care of all the luggage at the airport. She got stopped as we went through the gate, and they took her to the side, and I was behind her, and I panicked because I thought if they take her somewhere, I don't know where she's at. So I hollered at the gal that was taking her, and I said, I ran over there and I said, she has Alzheimer's. I have to be with her. And she said, okay, I'll just take her over just a short ways. And she was very nice about it, but I just freaked. And I had to help Sharon get dressed at that point. She had gained some weight, so I went out and bought her some clothes, some nice clothes to wear to that. And she was so happy because she knew she looked nice. And
you guys are always the fashion dolls.
Well, yeah.
Still are.
Well, we kind of got that from Mom.
Yeah, I can see that. So one of the things I want to turn about the story, guys, is that, you know, we live in the real world, and we both have stories to add this way. So I'm going to add here. This is our mom. That's my mom. Mom's 96, and she also has Alzheimer's. And the nutsy thing about this is that we have her at 96 living in her own home. And this is our dad. Dad's been gone for 35 years, and I'm the patriarch of our family. There's 10 brothers and sisters, and the most awesome people in the world, aren't they? Pretty cool dudes and dudettes. But Mom still knows people's names. We're blessed that she's with us at 96. We have a family, a niece that lives boots on the ground 24/7. We have respite twice a week for the caregiver. We have hospices coming in as well a couple times a week. And one of the brothers and sisters is there, you know, every month. And we live in 8 different states, including Hawaii, Alaska, Florida, California, you name it, we cover it with the 10 of us, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that we want you to know in our situations that it's not unusual for families to have a family member that is suffering with Alzheimer's dementia. And there's lots of different levels, but we want to be able to have a conversation with everybody that it's real. And I believe now what we know now about metabolic health, what we know is that had I known this 10 years ago, Mom would not be suffering from Alzheimer's the way she is, because we truly believe it's a metabolic health issue. Diabetes type 3 is what it's referred to. So when you start looking at the literature, guys, you can go to the diabetic code and you start reading this. And everybody wants to say it's genetic, don't they? Everybody wants to say it's genetic. And you're the contra of that one very simple argument. And even like in Dr. Jason Fung, and this goes, chronic Alzheimer's is a chronic progressive neurodegenerative disease that causes memory loss, personality changes, cognitive problems. Its most common form is dementia, the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. And it's only been increasing.
Oh, yeah. It used to be like the 7th or 8th, and now it's moving up.
Yeah. And so, and it says right here, Alzheimer's disease may reflect the inability to use glucose normally, perhaps a type of selective insulin resistance of the brain. Insulin resistance of the brain. That's why it's considered now type 3 diabetes. And what could stimulate that going to the younger is that the whole idea of stress, lack of sleep, stress with cortisol, that stress hormone, and the contractions of those two things together, it's not a genetic thing. For some, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, probably, possibly there's that. I'm not going to argue that that's not a possibility, a familial thing, but we're just looking at her family and looking at my family. Mom is 96. Her mom lived to 100. Aunt Lois lived to 103 or 106 or back to when they built the ark or something. But We have longevity. Here's the deal. We have longevity in both of our families. We really, truly do.
Someone asked me after my sister was diagnosed, and it used to kind of irk me when people would say this to me, well, aren't you afraid you're going to get it? And my response was, if there was a test for me to take to find out, I wouldn't take it. I'm not going to live in fear the rest of my life because I know how the disease progresses. So, and true, when I said the doctor prescribed or said she had Alzheimer's or dementia with a probability of Alzheimer's is because they can't really tell if it was true Alzheimer's until after death. And we did send her brain to Harvard, and it was true Alzheimer's. A lot of gray matter, and so
yeah. And the guys, we want to have the dialogue with everybody, and why we get sick by Dr. Ben Bickman in here, Metabolic, Robert Lustig. The more and more evidence is stacking up that there is a connection to what's called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is the inability of the cell of insulin to get glucose into the cell because there's just too much. And it's not because really you eat too much, it's that you eat too often. Eating too often is really probably the contributing thing, because you never let your blood glucose go back to where it's supposed to be, which is only, and did you know it's only a teaspoon? It's one sugar cube. That's you maybe get a half. I definitely get a full cube, but it's a sugar cube size. That's all that your body needs. And so if you have one of those milkshake coffees, like the ones I used to drink, and I always ask for real whipped cream and full everything on. I mean, there's like 8, 9, 10, 12 in there. Or an energy drink may have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cubes of sugars worth in there. That's going in. That causes chaos, literally causes chaos in our systems. Now, Cheryl didn't have that issue for herself currently, but a year ago, I did. I lived in the modern day food environment, didn't I? With enthusiasm.
Yep.
And literally enthusiasm. And Cheryl had me go to get my blood checked in October.
Finally, because he never listened before.
Anyway, and so I went and had my blood sugar done. And guys, the story is I knew how to cheat the system. You fast. The longer you fast, the lower it's going to be. So I went at 2:00 in the afternoon to get my blood work done. And they drew my blood, lipid panel, and everything, and I took off. Well, unbeknownst to me, the rest of the laboratory, as quick as they got my blood and analyzed it, called the clinic. And the clinic and the lab spent the rest of the afternoon trying to get a hold of me. And I called them the next morning, and they go like, well, we've been trying to get a hold of you. Are you dizzy? Are you fainting? Are you nauseous? Are your ears ringing? Is your vision blurry? Is your pulse going rapid? I go, no. What's going on? They go, we've been trying to get a hold of you since yesterday. I know. Why didn't you answer the phone? Well, I was golfing. I'm not gonna answer the phone. I'm golfing. So I called them that morning. So they you got to come in right away. So it's a 20-minute drive, and the clinic, you've been there. It's a nice clinic, nice chairs and plants and soft music. They rushed me into a room like you'd have thought I was in inner city ER. And I had 4 attendees and assistants and everything else standing around. And they went through the litany again about the symptoms of my heart beating fast, nauseous, dizzy, sweating. No. I says, what's up? Well, we did your blood. I know. What's the result? Well, my fasting blood glucose will shock most people. I should be not here. I should not be.
It took him for a few days for even to tell me about all this stuff.
My fasting, kind of like that, aren't I? But my fasting blood glucose was critically emergency high. I was 834. My fasting blood glucose was 834, and my A1C on top of it was 18.1. And I had gotten down to 143 pounds. I was suffering from sarcopenia as well. Oh, by the way, just the oddball side was I was peeing all the time, literally. My hair is falling out. I had skin tags, back acne, inflammation. My gums bled. I had blurry vision, brain fog. One day I made 5 trips back to the house, going one house away on the car because I forgot stuff. Of course, the joke is, how did I remember to go back? I don't know. But anyway, I forgot five times, and now I'm starting to think of, do I have Alzheimer's dementia because of Mom? I was thinking, like, oh no, is this where I'm headed? And I'm always hungry. I'm always thirsty. I'm constantly eating, constantly drinking, but I was never full. I'm always eating. I mean, watermelon was my middle name. I ate a watermelon, a whole watermelon by myself a day, or maybe I would get 3/4 of it done one day, and I'd get the quarter and then buy another one.
He didn't live in my house at that time, so I didn't know what. I knew he was drinking gallons and gallons and gallons of milk.
Whole milk is good for you. Yeah.
I thought, how in the heck? And we always had to have dessert after dinner.
And Dr. Pepper came out with a cream soda. Oh boy. Anyway, fast forward with those numbers. The punchline though is I walked out of the clinic with no medical intervention. I didn't have. I should have had a coma. I should have had a stroke. I should have had a cardiovascular event. But in the back of my head, I remember Dr. Sarah Hallberg, who's deceased now, on a TED Talk in 2019, which is a great TED Talk. She basically said about, why are we treating a sugar dietary disease with medication? And I coined the phrase back in 19, food got me into this mess, food got me out. And so, and the more we learn about insulin resistance, and the more we learn about now diabetes as diabetes type 3, it really is a whole nother awakening to the idea that we can intervene. And the intervention that I found was on another platform. I watched, and I'm looking, and I'm basically talking to Dr. Google, trying to find, what can we do? How can I lower this down? I don't want to take synthetics. I don't want to get into the world of medications, because everyone that I've ever seen or heard get on a statin, or on because they wanted to put me on statins, they wanted to put me on insulin, they wanted to put me on a bunch of things. I've never heard anybody get off of them. No one ever gets off of them. And if food got me in this mess, I believe food would get me out. And so luckily, fortunately, all the other ways you look at it, God bless, we were introduced to a protocol that takes care of the root cause of the malady, which is insulin resistance. And so rather than being medicated for symptoms, we went and sought for the root cause. And it's so easy to do, because all we have to do is we drink, when we're not eating, we drink some teas. And before we eat, we take some fiber. We do some fiber. It's as simple as it is. And in 107 days, just using this protocol, this patented protocol, you can find it in the PDR, the Physician's Desk Reference. You find this, and you'll find that it's just naturally food. It's patented. But in 107 days, my fasting blood glucose went from 834, where I should have been not here, to 90, which is normal. Nobody does that. And I couldn't have done it without this assistance. And then my A1C went from 18.1 to 7.2. While 7.2 is still considered diabetic, it was an exponential drop in 107 days of 18.1 to 7.2 on an exponential scale. And so also on the other side of it, my hair stopped falling out, right? My brain fog went away. My gums don't bleed. I can touch and do my own toenails without losing my breath. The one expensive thing for being on the protocol is I now have a 28-inch waist from up in the 40s to 28. And so clothes are different. Never hungry. We thought about, we just ate a little bit tonight. We thought about it, but we've changed our order of food. We have fiber first. We'll make sure we have the fiber, and then we had fiber because we had tomatoes, we had stuffed peppers that were stuffed with we use sausage on this, but
Italian sausage.
Yeah, Italian sausage. But we also, instead no rice, we use cauliflower rice and use portobello mushrooms, and in that recipe, and we had homegrown, well, neighbor grown, but homegrown tomatoes. So we eat like that. There's no calorie counting, there's no restrictive eating. And for me, it's great. I mean, I'm down to 152 pounds. And you're on the protocol too, and you're at 92 pounds. Now you have no.
Well, on his scale, I weigh 92. On my scale, I weigh 94. But I always haven't been thin. I've after I had my second son, he was my smallest baby, by the way. I just let myself go during that pregnancy. I weighed 140 pounds. That's a lot. I was a tank. And I really tried to get it off, and I got it off. And my sister and I were chubby kids growing up. And we decided when we were freshmen in high school, we liked boys. We don't want to look fat anymore. So we both went on diets. And we ate, but we had like a salad at lunch and stuff like that. But I just kind of watched my weight for quite a while now. I just don't let myself get over a certain amount. I put a little bit on in the winter because I'm not as active. I'm not out mowing and things like that. But I just don't let myself get to a certain weight. And I just had a class reunion last summer, and I see all these people that are heavy, and I don't want to look like that. I don't want to feel like that. So I'm just on the protocol basically because of the Alzheimer's. And I feel good. I don't feel like I'm so negative at work sometimes. Am I, honey?
No, your moods are much better, dear. But no, what about the test that you just had the other day?
Okay, so I had a hysterectomy in 2016.
It was our fourth date.
He thinks. Anyway, well, we had just met in January, so whatever. So anyway, I did not have cancer. It was preventative. So I had that, and I thought, oh, good, I'm done with pap smears. Oh, no. So I had pap smear after that, and it just wasn't where exactly like it should be. And so I had to have a pap smear every 6 months for the last 9 years, almost 9 years. And I had my PAPS test about a month ago. They called me with results. Perfect. I go again in January, I think, and I'm really excited. Hope it stays that way.
First one in 9 years.
I could not believe it. I could
First
not
one
believe
in
it, and
9 years.
I think it's because of the protocol. I really do.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're happy to share. Hopefully, we'll be on Thursday, 8:00 Central, and we're going to share again. And we look forward to hearing your comments. We look forward to having some guests on with similar familial results, with stories that will relate to, and we can help build a little community here, because we both know that it is a rough road. And to be an identical twin is even more so. But we know that had we known the things we know now, we both believe we could have intervened and helped, because that's what we'd want to do. And we want to be able to help you. Where we can't save ours, we would like to help you save yours. We'd like to help save you. And so thank you for coming on. It's been we've been on, it says 40 minutes. We've been chatting for about, I don't know, who knows how long.
Really?
And yeah, so obviously you can see we're not professional. We're sharing our story. We're real people working with giving you real hope about real stories of our real lives. So thank you very much for coming on board tonight.
Bye.
All right, we go here.